What's up, y'all? Welcome back. First, thank you to the people who pointed out that the volume sounded a little crazy. I tried to do a little different, but you know what? It didn't work out, and we're gonna go back to doing it the way we normally do it. So I appreciate the feedback. As everybody knows, I'm always open to feedback, constructive criticism, where you gave me some feedback, some criticism. Hey, Ray, the sound didn't sound so well. I'll just record another one. Like, it's not that big a deal. And you're just helping me out. You're helping my channel grow. And you're helping me understand that you want to watch my content. You want to consume it. You want to understand it. But it makes no sense if you can't hear it. You can't see it properly. It doesn't work right. And I tried something different. And right now I don't have the layout to do that way. So we're going to go back to doing it this way. So I appreciate the feedback and keep it coming. Because the fact that, again, you watched it told me that you were looking for insight. You just didn't get it because it was all out of way. So I appreciate that. So like I said before, I went ahead and I picked up the Formula or the Cube Controls F Core. And we're going to go ahead and I unboxed it before. So I put it back in the box so I can do it again so you guys can see. I've already used it, but let's go ahead and start like this is from scratch. Because again, you know, you guys gave me some feedback and let's go with it. So we're going to open it up, take it out this wonderful box I got from Micro Center. This actually was an open box item that I was able to save about $70. In fact, I paid $584.96. It was normally $649. So yeah, saved a little bit of money. Open box items, I definitely don't have a problem with purchasing. At the end of the day, saves me money. So here's that wonderful Cube Controls box. Again, not the fanciest looking box I've ever seen, but definitely a Cube Controls box. It's got that matte finish to it. My favorite, to be honest, right now is probably the GSI X29 box. That was super cool. Looked like a really cool sneaker box. But let's get this opened up. So inside it says, race hard and make it real. Nice foam padded cover here to protect the wheel. So awesome. And then obviously inside you have your wonderful wheel. You have here the F Core. It does come with the hub to attach to the F Core, as well as some useful items. One of them being the tool kit. I always think it's awesome when they include the tools in the screws. It just makes my life easy. I don't want to have to go to the hardware store. Comes with the USB cable, which is obviously needed. And their USB cable is magnetic. So I'll open it up for you, just in case you've never seen one, you're thinking about getting a Cube Controls wheel. I think it's really cool. And we'll get the wheel out. So first and foremost, here is the F Core. It is a rather nice wheel. Like I said, it's nice. Got a fingerprint on there. It is a rather nice wheel. At first glance, after having the F Pro, I will say this, that the grips feel so much better. Like, to hold this in hand compared to the F Pro, and I'm going to reference the F Pro a lot, because again, that's their high-end wheel, and eventually we'll do a review video on some of the other wheels and kind of compare them all together. But this feels really nice in hand. The grips are nice and squishy. They're soft to touch. They're not tacky, so they allow your hand to move if that's what you're using. And if you're using gloves, even better. But so far, at first glance, it has a lot of the similar profiles to the F Pro. One, it's got the toggle switches here, which is really cool. And in fact, because it's a Bluetooth wheel and it has its own internal battery, you can run this wheel via Bluetooth with no wires attached, as long as you have Bluetooth set up on your computer. It's not proprietary, like I believe like the SemiCube Taco wheel, which is proprietary. You can only Bluetooth work with a SemiCube wheel and some others. But this will work with any Bluetooth profile. So again, both the F Pro and F Core share that, and that's a really great feature. It's about 290 millimeters from side to side, so it's right in that sweet spot. I think anything more than 300 is just asking for just, you know, is too much dampening. But again, depending on what you're running, Maybe you're running something where you need a really big rim. So, but for most GT formula style racing, you know, open wheel, anything like that, you're really going to want something between like that 280, 85 to 300. I mean, 290 seems to be that sweet spot, and I love it. It's one of my favorite wheel sizes. It's a very light wheel rim. You know, I think it comes in, it says at like 892 grams. So that is very, very, very light compared to some other wheels. But again, the quality of it, it's done really well. Like, you have no complaints. Here are the wonderful shifters here. They're very silent and not very loud at all as compared to my GSI wheel. Here are the clutches. Again, they feel good in hand, and this comes with them for that wonderful price tag. You know, $649. You get everything you want, including clutches. That's not a bad thing to have. So I will say that. Let's go ahead and turn it on. So you'll see, once you turn it on, you've got a blue light blinking. It's looking for Bluetooth. If you were connected via hardwire, you'd see a light here as well. Red when it's not connected, green when it is. But it is blue light here, which means I can go ahead and flip those toggle switches and they will be green. So the cool thing about it is, again, you can flip it up, you know it's on, flip it down, you know it's off. And again, this works for various features like, you know, turning on, you know, the wipers on a car, anything that's got really an on-off function. That's great. You can use that. I mean, to be honest, you probably can use it as a pit limiter. Flick it on when you're in the pits, flick it off when you're leaving, but it's usually easier to just use a push button. I wouldn't use that myself, but you have that option. The buttons are nice and clicky. Again, they also are different colors. So, you know, no, you do not get LED lights for this. So you will get the ability to put stickers on it. And again, the buttons are different colors. The detents on here, on the encoders, you get 2 rotary encoders here. You get 2 7-way funky switches here, as well as 2 thumb encoders up top. And again, you definitely have all the features you're going to want to run on this wheel. And again, and because it's got that Bluetooth connection and dongle, it makes life really simple. Additionally, you've got your USB connection. And like I said, it is magnetic here with some push pins. You simply get it close, it adheres. It's not going to come off. Like, it takes some force to get it off. That is a very strong magnet. So yes, definitely feels well. You can adjust the paddles here. They can slide. As you can see, there are sliders here as well as on the clutches. So here, and I'm going to leave that, actually pull that cord off and put it back in the box. But as you can see here, these indentations, you can slide the shifters forward and back. So right now it's currently set all the way out here. But it can be slid all the way back inside if you want them to be significantly closer. Again, they are really clicky, not very loud. I'm not a fan of the dampened feeling, but I know some people will prefer that over others. But again, it has all the features you want. So what we're going to do is we're going to take out the hub that it comes with so you can take a quick look at that. Like I said, here's the wheel. It comes with their hub to attach your QR or to attach your 50mm hub. Now, because of the pattern on the back of their wheel, you have to have this hub attached to the wheel, then attach your spacer, and then your QR if you're running a spacer, or just your QR like I am. So you do have to account for the space here. I'm not a big fan of these because I like to run my QR directly on the wheel and then just have the distance between my QR and the wheel rim itself. So I have to account for this additional space. Make sure that whenever you look into this or any other wheel, technically that has one of these attached to it, you account for the space between here, because again, that will throw off how you're sitting, the closest that you're sitting to the actual rig. So we're going to get this mounted. get it on the wheelbase, and we'll have some feedback. I'll see you on the next side. Hey, what's up, guys? So we got the wheel on. Took a little bit of time to connect. I couldn't get the software to connect. I couldn't get it to recognize on my computer. My computer actually ended up crashing. I don't know. The CubeSat software did not like me at all. But I finally got it loaded. It's actually connected via Bluetooth. Still have it connected via wire for power. But to be honest, I can just connect via Bluetooth. So far, first impressions are you can definitely feel the difference in the wheel from the F Pro. If you have the money for the F Pro, that's a much higher quality wheel. We'll have a video later talking about all the wheels I've had and kind of a Q&A session. I no longer have the F Pro. I did get rid of it. I do wish it had these grips from first impression. But let's just get on track. What I'm doing now is I'm actually in a wonderful, how do I say this? Ghost session. Because, let me see, my sound is not actually coming through. But yeah, I'm in a ghost session here. Figured, you know what? Daytona, practice, jump into session. You know what I mean? And I can do a quick little wheel review right now. Connected via Bluetooth. There's no lag in inputs. It shifts quickly. From the moment I click the button, it shifts in game. So I don't have any gripes there. The grips are much softer than that of on the Pro. And again, that's the best thing I like about this. The shifters feel okay. I don't have any real gripes about the grips. They aren't as tacky as like my GSI. Like I tried running this actually without gloves, and I still felt it without the gloves. And you know, it's like how, like, in a nutshell, like, I'd rather not run gloves. If you guys watch me race, you know, I'd rather not run any gloves at all. I'd much rather just get out there, put my wheel in, connect the one I'm going to use, and then race with it. So I typically gravitate towards grips or rims that I don't have to wear gloves. But that being said, it's not a deal breaker. I mean, I obviously have gloves. I have two pair of Morad gloves, 2 sets of these iFly gloves I got from Amazon, and another one. So definitely, I'm okay with the running gloves. The thing is, I'd rather not. I'd rather just go out there and again slap the wheel on. The cool thing is, you do have these toggles, and the toggles are great for things like turning on the wipers if you're playing a game that has rain, or you can get rid of debris, or like, let's say you're racing in an F1 game, you're racing an F1 car, you can toggle up to change your, you know, visor, you know, and just rip off a new one that'll tear off. You can use it again to turn on your windshield wipers and to turn them off. You can use them for quite a few things. I mean, anything that's really an on-off input, you can use these for, and you get 2 of them. So I've always thought that was cool, and I like how they illuminate when you toggle them up. There are no LED buttons on this wheel, as you can see. Outside of the toggles that have an LED backlit behind it, and then the lights to know that you have a connection to the wheel, and it's connected via Bluetooth with that blue light. What I do like on the wheel is you do at least get 2 thumb encoders here, which are nice. They're always nice to have. It's one of the complaints I really have about the GSI wheel as much as I love that wheel, and that's become like my go-to wheel for quite a few races, because I like the grips. They're just soft. And like I said, I don't like to have to run gloves. But not having thumb rotaries does limit some of the things where you just have to take your hands off the wheel. So if I want to change my brake bias, I can just flick up and flick down here, and you know, I have this one mounted to traction control up, and you know, that's pretty much it there. And at the end of the day, that just makes it easy to enter those two inputs. You know, if you're running an F1 car, maybe you map one to your to your MGUK, and then the other to your brake bias. You know, the options are quite endless. You do have two, say, quote-unquote funky switches. I know, you know, that's kind of a phrase coined by Fanatic, but or Fanatec, depending on how you say it. But you do get two 7-way funky switches here, which is cool. I mean, again, they're doing what they need to do, and I feel like with this wheel, like most wheels, as long as they do and have the inputs you need to run a race and to win, let's be honest, you only really need, you know, you need your paddles to shift, clearly. Many cars you don't even need a clutch anymore, but having those is great. You don't need optional paddles at the top, to be honest. I love them, and I love using them, but you don't need them. You know, you really need a DRS button if you're running an F1 car. You need a pit limiter. You need something to be able to change your brake bias and traction control and ABS on the fly. But to say that this isn't enough inputs to do everything that you need to do, for sure you can. You know, you also have the ability, trying not to crash here, but I seem to be focusing on the wheel because it's not a real race. You know, all the inputs can be reached simply by your thumb. You know, you can reach everything. I mean, I can get down here and still have, you know, my hand on the wheel. Like I said, granted, I can use the funky switches here to navigate things like my black box quite easily. Like I said, I mean, all in all, not a bad wheel. I mean, it's got a nice sturdy grip to it. I mean, if you want me to try and bend it, like any wheel, like it's mainly, you know, trying to move it's going to be more play in the QR than there is in anything else. But not very much is going to be. Anything else, but I kind of am, I'll be honest with you, not a big fan of this wheel overall. For as much as it costs to get brand new and other things that are on the market, it's cool. F Pro is much better. They should have put these grips on the F Pro to make it better. Now, again, these aren't my favorite grips. They're definitely softer, significantly softer. But they don't have that tacky feel that I like. But we know grips are very subjective. If you watch Will at Lucid Media, he loves the F Pro and the grips there. I mean, that's more or less one of his go-to wheels that he loves to use. So again, it's all subjective. I'm just saying that for me, being that this wheel is really in the mid-tier of wheels, would I buy it? In all reality, I don't think so. Like, I don't think this is one I would thoroughly recommend you go and buy. There's so many others and so many options. For the same price, you can get a GSI wheel brand new. You won't get clutches. So if you do need clutches, I will say that. So, but it's a good wheel. There are so many other wheels. If you're like on Moza and you were going to spend 650 bucks, get the FSR. If you're on SimMagic, get the I think it's FX Pro. If you want a first-party wheel. If you're looking for a third-party wheel, there are many others. It's not a bad wheel. It's just not what I would recommend at this price point, because it's not feature-rich. And some of the wheels at this price point aren't going to be feature-rich. But again, it comes down to what can you get for the price? What do you need? And aesthetically, does it do what you want? So let's take a final look at the wheel, and you kind of hear my summary, but we'll go over it one by one. See you after this bit. So, as you can see, I've run it on the wheelbase, and you saw some of the feedback I have. When you've used their F Pro, and then you come down to this, you can tell it's their baby brother. And not that baby brothers are necessarily bad or good, but you can tell this is a pared down version of the F Pro. So many people like the F Pro. The gripe about the F Pro really to me are the grips. The F Pro's grips are so hard and slippery, you have to run glove. And even then, if you're running a decent set of gloves, like I have a couple pair of Morad gloves, you're having to grip the wheel very tight. This is significantly softer, but I still don't like the fact that it has no tacky feeling to it. I think there ought to be a little bit of tacky feeling to keep my hands in place, personally. I know grips are very subjective. Some people like them hard, some people like them soft. I know if you watch like Will at Boosted Media, he loves the grips on the F Pro. I can't stand them. Everybody has their preference. Everybody has what they like. So that's why you can never satisfy everybody. But I can definitely tell this is the little brother. I'm not a fan of the dampen feeling here. I don't mind the clicky snappiness of shifters. The clutches feel great. I have no qualms about that. I don't run much things with the clutch anymore, but they definitely work and deliver as expected. Again, Cube Controls made a good wheel. I just know with the price point that this is at, because you get the additional paddle shifters, or the clutch shifters here, it definitely is a good value. Would I buy it for myself and keep this wheel? No. And not because it's a bad wheel, but because I've used the F Pro and I know what that has to offer. That's a really nice wheel if it just had better grips. If you put the grips that I have like on my GSI, it doesn't have to be the same bulkiness or thickness, but just that tacky rubbery feel and the softness, so I can run it without gloves or with gloves if I choose to. To me, those are my favorite grips by far. And there are a few other companies I know that are coming out with grips similar, or who have upgraded to similar type grips, and they definitely just make your life easy. I tend to gravitate towards those type of wheels, like my Balkan Rev 3, the GSI X29. I have the SRB wheel rim, and I have this. And I would tell anybody, if this is the only wheel you're going to buy and you like it, great, awesome. You won't be disappointed with many of the things you have. If you've tried some other wheels, or if you've at least tried their F Pro, you'll be disappointed in some of the features that you don't get on here compared to that one. But again, knowing that it's his little brother, that's okay. I still think the grips feel much better, much, much better than the F Pro. But again, they're slick underhand, and after 10 minutes of running with it, like my hand slide, I have to wear gloves. And again, I have to hold with the death grip. I'm not a big fan of the buttons. You can definitely tell, like, because they're non-LED buttons and they went with a simpler format, so they decided to give you colorful buttons. I would much rather them be one flat color, if they're not going to be RGB LED buttons that I can change the colors on. But that being said, to each their own. If you think it looks awesome, and somebody pointed out that they like it because it has the different colors similar to a real wheel rim, that's cool. And I'm not going to poo-poo that idea, because I think if that's what you like, then go for it. You're going to be spending $400, $500, $600 on these wheel rims or more. You better get what you like, and if that's what you like, you should go for it. For me personally, I'm not a big fan. And I always say this, and I say this not to upset anybody, but I'm a sim racer. I don't need the wheel rim to be similar to what they use in a real F1 car and real GT car. I need them to have features for a sim racer. I don't need a drink button. I need and would prefer some sort of LED strip on the wheel, not because it's not realistic to have it on there or realistic to have it on there, just because it helps as a sim racer if you don't have an RGB LED strip, if you don't have a dash. So it just makes your life a little bit easier. But again, those are just preferences for me. Everybody's going to be completely separate. I have said this and I will say this again. The encoder, the detents on here aren't as defined as I'd like them to be, but they're right in that middle. Like, I've definitely felt some weaker ones, and I definitely have felt some strong ones that have really defined clicks that you will notice each and every time. You will notice this. If you run gloves, it'll feel kind of dampened a little bit. The funky switches, again, do everything you need to do. And then the thumb encoders, again, if you're running it with gloves on or off, you'll notice the detents, but there will be some dampening to them. They're not as snap, clicky, like a really defined set of thumb encoders or rotaries. So I will say that, like, it definitely is the little brother of the F Pro. With that being said, it's not going to bend. Don't understand this test. I've never understood putting it in and going, okay, will it flex? Does it bend? Why? Don't see the practicality in that. Nobody's driving a wheel and doing those type of motions to make it bend or stretch, or like typically you're going to notice bends and things and tolerances between the QR and the wheel itself or the wheelbase, but you're very rarely with wheels today going to notice that they're bending and flexing and things like that. I think it's a pointless test, and I never do it because I don't really understand it. Nobody's driving like that. I'm driving like this. And I'm letting the force feedback or lack of force feedback, you know, dictate how I turn in, how I don't. So to me, again, I don't know if that's a feasible test, but I'll let you decide. It doesn't bend. It's got a carbon plate, 5mm thick. Like it does. It's nice. Again, it's good quality, good build. I could recommend this to anybody and tell you that you'd like it if that's what you want. If I had to recommend it to somebody, though, knowing the other wheels that are on the market, I'd probably recommend some others. If you have a Moza wheelbase, get the FSR. If you have a SimMagic wheelbase, get the FX Pro. If you have any other wheelbase and you're looking for something different, you can get one of those, because I believe those are both PC compatible with the hub. Got to check on the actually the SimMagic one. I'm not 100% positive. I believe it is. It does have a USB connector in back. But I would choose one of those over this. I really would. I'd get the FSR and use that. I'd also choose over this the GSI wheel. Or my Balkan Rev 3. Get the Rev Pro, which, yes, it doesn't come with clutches. If you need clutches, I understand. With the GSI, you can add them on, but then it takes the price well above this and closer to the F Pro. But I'll pick the GSI X29 over that any day. And again, I'll have a video on all of these wheels so you can kind of take a look. And that video will be more of a live stream so we can have a Q&A, because I think people have questions. I'm hoping I have answers and I can rectify some of the questions you have with some of the wheels I have and what I would recommend. So definitely good, not bad. I wouldn't buy it. I'm actually going to likely return this after I do the review of all the wheels together, because it's not one I want to keep at this point. I thought I would like it, but no, I'm going to go ahead and give this one back. And that's the great thing. For those who have a Micro Center, try it. If you like it, you got it. It's in your hand the day one. If you don't like it, well, you take it back and then, you know, you get something else. So I do like that about Micro Center. But again, like I said, if this is what you're looking for, you won't be disappointed. If you want the thumb encoders and you need them, definitely not a bad idea. And especially if you want clutches and you want both. For the price, definitely good. I would say get the Moza FSR over it, because you get an additional screen on it and you get everything you see here. So I would recommend that, and you get RGB backlit buttons. So I'd recommend that over this or the FX Pro from SimMagic. With that being said, that's my thoughts on this wheel. If you agree with me or disagree, please leave a comment down below. If you like what I'm presenting, you like what I'm bringing to the table, as always, subscribe, thumbs up, turn notifications on so you see what's coming. Lastly, I did set up some memberships. They're 99 cents a month. I would tell you, if you don't like me that much, don't sign up. Enjoy my content for free. Really, the only thing you'll get is a badge that lets you know that you're a member. And additionally, I will shout you out on every video. If that's something you want, by all means, sign up. I don't have much to offer, so having and offering you something to pay for $1.99, $4.99, like, I don't know what I would bring to you. I don't have a Patreon. I don't have any of those things that bring you extra content, so I'm not going to be that guy. The 99 cents that you would send to me would help me just buy more stuff, review more stuff, get good gear, and it'd be a way to support the gear I buy. But other than that, I have a great job, I have a great life, and I'm not going to complain about it. And I don't do this full time, so I don't need your money. But it would be nice if you want to support me in some small way. So, as always, I have some really cool stuff coming. I've got some free Moses, SimMagic, and NRG style quick release wheel stands. If you want one, please let me know. I'm trying to get a few of them out. Even if you live overseas, let me know. My goal is to try and get what you want. It's just trying to figure out packaging and delivery because I'm in the States. So it is a little bit more expensive and or a little bit more cumbersome to send elsewhere. So as always, enjoy the content. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.